To properly prep for a tabletop RPG, provide plenty of places for unplanned play. My goal for this session was to prep, and amazingly enough, I did that! I was feeling so good going into the session. I wrote down all the story beats. I missed a few of them, but I wrote them down. I wrote down some NPCs, taking notes on what they knew and how their relationships were with the other NPCs, and then I forgot to introduce them because of the missed story beats. But I'll get it next session, it's fine. I prepped the battle stats, which were super important, and I even did a Roll20 map, which was a new thing for me. Up until this point, I had been doing Theater of the Mind because I wasn't sure whether or not Roll20 would be worth it or not. Pro tip, it is totally worth it. It made everything better. Not only did I not freak out every second of the battle because I had no idea where anything was, but it seemed to engage my players too. They were jumping on roofs, running on walls, accidentally throwing errant eldritch blasts into windows due to a couple of natural ones. It was a good time all around. Then they went out investigating some burgled places, and I realized I had forgotten to prep any shopkeeper NPCs. One of my story beats was literally crime scene investigation. Yeah! And I didn't prep the NPCs! Holding onto my confidence for dear life, I looked to the PDF, which gave me absolutely nothing. I later learned I was looking in the wrong place. I was looking in the clue section instead of in the description section, which seems a silly way of organizing because the clue section has all the dialogue that the NPC is saying, but the description section has the actual description of their shops and the NPCs themselves, including race and gender. So that seemed a little silly to me, but who am I to judge? My notes look like this. The first shopkeeper was fine. She was an apothecary, so I made her a druid, a shifter druid. And I made her shop an explosion of plants, and I made her down to earth and full of poise. Easy peasy. Next, the silversmith. Cool. Made him a dwarf, 'cause dwarf. But a fancy dwarf because of silver. Yet, still a dwarf, so a little bit gruff. Easy. One more to go. Amaranthea the Seer? That was all I got in the description. Amaranthea the Seer is a little bit crazy. Well, alright. Amaranthea sounds like Amalthea, the goat that took care of baby Zeus after Rhea, his mom, took him to a cave so his father Cronus wouldn't swallow him whole. So cool. Amaranthea is a goat. But that suddenly interested the party because I have a party full of animalkin. So they asked me what god Amaranthea worshipped. It's a goat god, I said, and its real name is unpronounceable. So everyone just calls it colloquially the Braying God. Cool, one of my players says. He's an Aarakocra druid, and his real name is also unpronounceable, so everyone just calls him Ishi. He asks, what is the message of the Braying God? What do goats do, I thought? They eat everything? Alright. I added some pagan flair to it and got, and it harm none, eat what thou wilt. Then I added Catholic flair and had Amaranthea offer the Braying God feta made from her own milk, because the Braying God wants to consume us as well. It's part of the worship, eat and be eaten sort of a thing. Offer him a bit of your fur, a bit of your feathers, a bit of your hair. That's how you worship the Braying God. He wants to consume of your spiritual essence. Without realizing it, I had handed the perfect religion to my Aarakocra druid. You see, he's not just an ordinary bird, he's a bearded vulture. Consuming things is his whole shtick. When he's looting the bodies, he's looking for bones and things to eat, not loot. And I handed him an Epicurean religion based off of eating. And that's when I realized I had prepped the exact right amount. I prepped the things I generally had problems with. The battles, the numbers, the story beats, which I still managed to miss at least 2. Everything else I discovered along with my players at the table, trusting in myself and my knowledge of the world to lead me through, and it did. I think I can do this now. Like, I feel super prepped and prepared as a DM, and sure, maybe I'm a high chaos DM with no one really knowing what's going to happen, not even me, the DM, but it's a thrilling way to play. I enjoy it, and it keeps it from being too formulaic. and it allows it to be more of a conversation between me and my players. So I'm not trying to railroad them into something. They won't throw something at me that I have no idea what to do with, or will upset the balance of the entire game, because there is no end game. Maybe there's a little bit of an end game, but I can't say it in these videos because players watch and I don't want to give anything away. But we will discover that later. For the moment, I have a goat cult to flesh out. See you later.